Next news. Breaking news.
For weeks, the Middle East story has sounded like one more step away from war. Well, right now, that may no longer be true. President Trump is now using closing language, not bargaining language, saying the United States is in the final throes of a very, very good deal with Iran, one that could reopen the Strait of Hormuz within days. And that is the clue. That is the tell. While missiles, drones, and military incidents still flash across the screen, the Trump administration is signaling something much bigger. America may be closer to locking in its objective than the media wants to admit. The question now is simple. Can the deal get signed before chaos tries to stop it? See, this is the moment that we've been tracking because the center of gravity's changed. Early on, the message was straightforward. All options were on the table. Then came negotiations. Then came word that Iran was putting real concessions on the table. Now President Trump says there are no sticking points left and a powerful agreement may be just days away. And that matters because this has never only been about rhetoric. The Trump administration set clear America First goals. Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon. Global shipping cannot be held hostage, and the Strait of Hormuz cannot remain a pressure point for the world economy. If that waterway reopens immediately after a signed deal, that is not cosmetic. That is leverage converted into results. At the same time, the region is still hot. Israel is continuing strikes. A Houthi drone was intercepted over Eilat, and a U.S. Apache went down near Hormuz, and though, thank God, both crew members were rescued safely. One misfire, one casualty, one bad calculation could still interrupt everything. Now, before we go further, pay attention to this because protecting your family from confusion and waste matters at home just as much as strength matters overseas. If you or someone in your family is on Medicare, this directly affects your wallet. Medicare is confusing by design. The mailers, the robocalls, the fine print, the commercials, it's all built to keep you overwhelmed, so you pick a plan and never review it again. That is the Medicare confusion industrial complex, and seniors are paying for it without even knowing it. Chapter is simple by design. One call, one advisor. They look at your doctors, your prescriptions, and your priorities and help you compare plans that actually fit. Some people could save as much as $1,100 a year by reviewing their coverage. Don't assume your current plan is the best plan. Call Chapter at 910-728-4109. That is the number you see on the screen. Pause the video, write that number down, give them a call, and get real help from a real human being today. Now back to the story, because what Vice President J.D. Vance just said makes clear the White House knows exactly what it's doing. So here's the part the corporate press will try to blur out. The Trump administration is openly drawing a line between America's interests and everybody else's. Vice President Vance responded to concerns involving Israel by saying very plainly that whatever other countries want, the United States is pursuing what's in the best interest of America. That's not weakness, that is leadership. It also tells you that this deal effort is real. It's advanced and being protected at the highest level. So when you look at the tweets, the clips, and the cross currents, keep one thing in mind. Washington is prioritizing the agreement. This news, the U.S. Apache helicopter down near the Strait of Hormuz, President Trump reacting. The U.S. Apache gunship went down Monday near the critical strait as tensions remain high in the Middle East. Let's take a look at the details.
Apache helicopter went down near the Strait of Hormuz on Monday. Now, President Trump says the crew members are doing fine, and we are still gathering more information on what took place. It's not clear if the gunship went down due to enemy fire or a mechanical issue. This does come as the ceasefire with Iran is holding again as the region braces for what comes next. President Trump spoke after attending Game 3 of the NBA Finals between the Knicks and Spurs. He indicated that negotiations toward a deal are ongoing, and we could have a better idea of where things stand in the days ahead. The president also discussed his call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu after the exchange of fire over the weekend.
We had a very good conversation, and he was hit, and he...
So Trump says the Apache crew's safe, but the big question is what brought that bird down near Hormuz. News Nation picks up the breaking details from the White House, including Trump's claim a deal with Iran could be just days away. Those pilots were rescued after it went down near the strait. U.S. Central Command confirmed it. Trump told reporters that they are fine.
We begin with breaking news this morning. 2 U.S. crew members are safe after their helicopter crashed near the Strait of Hormuz. That is according to President Trump. He also added the U.S. has the potential to sign a peace deal with Iran in 2 or 3 days. News Nation Washington correspondent Hannah Brandt is at the White House for us with the very latest. Hannah, this is urgently developing here. Have we learned any more about what led up to the crash in the Strait this morning yet?
Marky, that's the one big thing that we don't know, exactly what caused that Apache helicopter to crash. But what we do know is that these are the types of helicopters that the U.S. military has been using to enforce its blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. They've been targeting gunboats, drones, and other different targets. But President Trump says we are set to learn more details about the incident. He says there's going to be a report released today. He broke this news while he was returning from the NBA Finals in New York overnight. This all comes a day after Iran and Israel exchanged waves of strikes in what was really the fiercest fighting that we've seen since the ceasefire went into effect back in April. And for now, those two sides do say they're going to stop any further military action. President Trump even saying an idea of a deal could be coming in a few days, though he didn't elaborate further on what that looks like. Take a listen to what the president did say.
Now they both agreed through me to stop, and we're in the final throes of what will be a very, very good deal that will not allow in any way, shape, or form nuclear weapons, etc. And the Strait will open up right away. It'll open up immediately upon signing, which could be in 2 or 3 days. We have a good chance of doing it. We should be able to do it in 1 hour, if you want to know the truth.
What's the biggest sticking point right now?
I don't think there are any sticking points.
Though I would note we've repeatedly heard President Trump say we are very close to a deal for multiple weeks now. The president also telling reporters he had a good conversation with Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday, adding he doesn't blame Israel for retaliating against Iran. But it follows reporting that Israel was preparing for an even larger wave of strikes on sensitive Iranian targets. And Trump told Netanyahu he better be careful or he could be on his own very soon, Marky.
So the crash is still under investigation, but Trump is making clear he wants a deal instead of another war, saying it out loud himself, saying there's no sticking points left and the Strait of Hormuz must reopen fast. Here's more on that from Sky News.
We're in the final throes of what will be a very, very good deal that will not allow in any way, shape, or form nuclear weapons, etc. And the Strait will open up right away. It'll open up immediately upon signing, which could be in 2 or 3 days.
Did you just say 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 weeks?
2 or 3 days.
You'll be signing a peace agreement?
No, we have a good chance of doing it. We should be able to do it in 1 hour, if you want to know the truth.
What's the biggest sticking point right now?
I don't think there are any sticking points. I think we're very close to having a very, very good, strong, powerful deal. If we go and bomb, which we can do very easily if we want, and we spend another 2 or 3 weeks bombing, they'll have nothing left whatsoever, but you won't have the Strait open for months. If we do the bombing, a lot of people are going to be killed. Who wants to do that? I don't. And we'll have a signed document that's actually stronger than doing the bombing. What has proven to be a very powerful thing is the blockade. The blockades turned out to be much stronger than bombing.
So you heard Trump draw the contrast, plain and simple, a signed deal or more bombing and more death. Next, Fox has the White House angle, J.D. Vance, saying Iran is finally putting real concessions on the table. He expects that to know where these negotiations are in a matter of days. Vance says Iranians are putting some real things on the table.
President Trump is still pushing for a deal with Iran and says we could have an idea of the potential agreement in the coming days. And it comes as Israel continues to hammer Hezbollah in Lebanon, carrying out strikes just in the last hour. Aisha Hasni is live at the White House with the latest. Hey, Aisha.
Hey, good morning to you, Brian. And when we talk about a potential deadline, that deadline could be in a number of days because the president, on his way back from the Knicks game late last night, told reporters that he'll have some sort of an idea of where these talks are going in just 1 to 2 days. Watch.
We have ongoing negotiations in Iran and with Iran, and that hasn't stopped. And we could have at least an idea by 1 or 2 days from now. We're very close to having a very, very good, strong, powerful deal. If we do the bombing, a lot of people are going to be killed. Who wants to do that? I don't. And we'll have a signed document that's actually stronger than doing the bombing.
So this morning, CENTCOM gave an update on those two helicopter crew members that were lost at sea. Apache crew members were told that they were rescued by American forces after their helicopter went down near the coast of Oman while patrolling regional waters. The soldiers were safely rescued within approximately 2 hours, are in stable condition. The cause of the incident still under investigation, according to CENTCOM. Meanwhile, the president is still trying to cool tensions between Iran and Israel after an exchange of fire this week. The Israelis are downplaying any friction between Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, likening it to a lover's quarrel. And it comes after Trump reportedly told Axios that he warned Netanyahu that if he went back to war with Iran, he might find himself fighting alone. Vice President J.D. Vance telling Jesse Waters last night that the Iranians actually do not want war. And if there is a deal, it'll be a home run for the American people.
I think the president's attitude on this is we have to verify, of course. One of the most important things to whether this ultimate settlement is a success is not what the Iranians write on the paper, but whether they actually comply with some of the requirements of the settlement that we come up to. The Iranians don't want this war to continue. It's not in their best interest. And I think they're coming to the table, putting some real things on the table. We're, of course, going to verify it. But if we get to this deal, it's going to be a home run win for the American people.
So, Brian, the president has some policy meetings on the schedule today. Nothing that's open to the press, so we aren't expecting to see him today. So keep your eyes on Truth Social if there's any news.
Keep your eyes on Truth Social and, of course, Trump Daily Posts as they monitor Trump's Truth Social posts on the regular. Vance is calling it a home run if Trump can close the deal. Even while the region stays hot, this next clip shows exactly that, with a Houthi drone intercepted over Eilat after launch from Yemen. This footage shows a successful interception. Take a look at this. Wow. Absolutely stunning visuals. That interception is a real-time reminder of how many fronts are still active in the fight, but the focus turns back to Washington, where Vance responds to reports that Israel was spying on the Pentagon. It makes clear America first comes before anyone else's agenda. This is from Jesse Waters.
So how concerned are you about Israel spying on the United States and freelancing in Lebanon?
Well, look, I think obviously the Israelis and the United States, we have a lot of shared interests, but we also have some situations where our interests diverge. And I think where the president has been very clear here is that while Israel obviously has some objectives that it has, the United States' main objective in Iran is to ensure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon. And we've actually, thanks to what's happened over the last few months, but really over the last year and a half, we've created the space necessary where the president believes, and I think that he's right, that we can get the long-term settlement to Iran's nuclear deal. Now, Israel may like that, they may not like that, but fundamentally, we think this is in the best interest of the United States of America. So we're going to keep on pursuing it because that's what the President of the United States was elected to do. That's what we have to do in order to properly serve the American people.
Do you think the Iranians are trying to play us at the negotiating table?
Well, I think, Jesse, everybody's always trying to play everybody. I think the president's attitude on this is we have to verify, of course. One of the most important things to whether this ultimate settlement is a success is not what the Iranians write on the paper, but whether they actually comply with some of the requirements of the settlement that we come up to. I think it's very important, and this is one of the big differences. You always hear people talk about the Obama deal and what went wrong with it. The number one thing that went wrong with the Obama deal, Jesse, is that there was not a proper inspections regime to ensure that the Iranians could never build a nuclear weapon. And that's one of the big differences between what happened then and what the President of the United States would get to, assuming we're ultimately able to make a deal. So I don't assume that anybody's acting in good faith. Obviously, we've been very involved in these negotiations, Jesse. We're going to take the attitude of accomplish the president's mission, but verify over the long term that the Iranians are keeping their end of the bargain. It's a tall order, but it's one that the president has put us in a good position to achieve, because let's be honest, Jesse, the Iranians don't want this war to continue. It's not in their best interest. And I think they're coming to the table, putting some real things on the table. We're, of course, going to verify it. But if we get to this deal, it's going to be a home run win for the American people.
So, what does it all really mean? Well, it means that President Trump may be on the verge of pulling off the outcome that the foreign policy class said could not be done, forcing Iran away from a nuclear path, keeping shipping lanes moving, and doing it from a position of strength without launching another endless war. Trump himself said that the blockade has been more powerful than bombing, and that's the key. The pressure worked, the leverage held, and now the White House is talking like the framework is finished and only execution remains. But the danger's obvious. An Apache goes down, a drone gets launched, Israel keeps hitting targets. Every hour without a signature creates another chance for escalation. The race is no longer whether a deal is possible. The race is whether the deal can be locked in before the battlefield interferes. So take a step back and look at the full picture. The old establishment answer was always the same: more chaos, more military drift, more lectures from people who never deliver results. President Trump's pursuing something very different. He's applying pressure, keeping America's objective front and center, and moving towards what could be a stronger outcome than a bombing campaign, because a signed agreement that blocks Iran's nuclear ambition and reopens Hormuz is a concrete win for American strength, American commerce, and global stability. That does not mean the danger is gone. It means the opportunity is real, and it may be closer than at any point in this entire crisis. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you believe that President Trump will get this deal across the finish line before another military incident tries to derail it? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments, share this report, and if you're with the America First movement, subscribe right now. But most importantly, text the words raw feed to that number you see on your screen, 844-840-4963. Thousands and thousands of patriots are already bypassing the algorithm and getting direct notifications from me when those notifications from YouTube never arrive. And since we're on the cusp of the greatest celebration in American history, 250 years of our great republic, celebrate with us by finding something at the Next News merch shelf below this video or at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.